In the top stories, BWU official calls for a full social partnership meeting. Residents told to monitor how haulers dispose their garbage, and British sailors arrive for Round the Island race. Welcome to Nation News for Wednesday, December 16, 2015. I'm Natasha Beckles. A senior member of the Barbados Workers Union says the industrial relations climate is highly charged. And according to Deputy General Secretary Dwayne Paul, it is because too many employers are moving away from established protocols.
I would say the industrial relations climate in Barbados remains highly charged. We have a lot of issues. We have far too many employers moving away or seeking to move away from what is established practices and customs and procedures, and it is causing for a significant degree of uneasiness, I would say, among the workforce. And we understand the economic climate poses challenges for operations, but we do not believe that the resolution to those challenges lies in seeking to violate the rights and practices of workers or in mistreating or seeking to exploit workers. We cannot come out of a crisis simply by trying to stand up and press the throats of the small man. We cannot do it.
Mr. Paul says the only way to solve the present economic problems is for a full meeting of the social partnership, with all parties committed to finding solutions.
I said before, and it wasn't carried, but I'll say it again, that we strongly believe that for us to make any significant progress towards having sustainable recovery, we need to return to having meaningful dialogue towards resolving these issues or looking for solutions to these issues. And that has to be proper tripartite discussions where people are coming to the table not seeking just to take from each other, but seeking to put our collective resources together and talents to put Barbados on a firm footing once again.
He was speaking on the sidelines of talks between the union and management of Apes Hill Resort at the Ministry of Labour. Employees staged industrial action last week, but have returned to work while talks continue. Chief Labour Officer Vincent Burnett said talks will resume in January. Businesses and households are being urged to ensure that waste haulers take their garbage only to legal dumps. The advice comes from Chairman of the Waste Haulers Association, Charles Reid, who expressed concern over the discovery of an illegal dumping ground at Butt St. Thomas. He said some private haulers may be dumping illegally in an effort to avoid the controversial tipping fee which was imposed by government earlier this year. Mr. Reid said generators of waste are responsible for making sure it ends up in the right place. Issues affecting the wider Caribbean will be on the table next year for the 17th annual conference put on by the Sir Arthur Lewis Institute for Social and Economic Studies. It will be under the theme Revolution, Socio-Economic Change and Freedoms and will take place on March 30th and April 1st at Hilton, Barbados. SALIS's director, Dr. Don Marshall, said the idea was to encourage broad reflections on who we are and where we are as a people. The conference will be sponsored by Republic Bank and Nation Publishing. The nation's senior marketing communications officer, Janelle Ward, said the nation was pleased to be associated with the venture. Farmers have been told to conserve water and harness rainwater since next year's dry season is likely to be worse than this year's. The advice comes from Inter-American Institute for Cooperation representative for Barbados, Ina Harvey. Speaking at a recent training session, Ms. Harvey said there were reports that some animals died during this year's drought. She urged farmers to take a more science-based approach to their operations. The mental and physical health of young people will be high on the agenda when the United Youth Leaders of Barbados hosts its 6th annual retreat from December 27th to 30th. UYLB Chairman and Program Manager Krista Solane told the press conference this is because young people at last year's retreat voiced their concerns about training in these areas. 60 young people from 8 secondary schools will be involved in what Ms. Solane says will be an interactive event.
And what we ask them to do is, after we teach about project planning and what's not, is we have kind of a make-believe situation. So they go to make-believe sponsors, for example, and have to sell their project and say, this is why this is important, and be able to articulate that properly. And what we're trying to do is to take these projects that they have designed and see if, as a group, if we can implement some of these projects as well. So we're very hands-on, and it's really, yes, there's a theory and sitting down and listening to these sessions, but really just active participation is what we're going for.
In sport, sailing in Barbados is about to get a major boost. The Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc. has joined forces with Britain's successful offshore racing crew, Team Concise, in hopes of attracting more sailors to the island. Team Concise will compete in the Monkgay Rung the Island race next month in MS Barbados, one of the fastest yachts in the world. Captain Ned Collier Wakefield said they were looking forward to their stay in Barbados. The race will take place on January 21st.
So we're really excited to be here. We've had a fantastic welcome. We've been incredibly well looked after. We have a wonderful boat, and we're going to stay here for the next 2 months. And continue sort of push sailing here and attract as many other boats here as we can. We're doing a few other interesting events. We're actually going to race a rally car around the island, which will be quite fun. And this boat, it does 45 miles an hour. So if we can get the courses right, I think it's going to be a really interesting race. And again, the whole idea behind that is to raise the profile for sailing here. So it's purely to try and bring more people to the island, help with tourism, and engage with sailors.
And finally, many Star Wars fans have an almost religious devotion to the movie franchise. And now they have a place to officially worship. The Zion Church in Berlin is hosting a special service on Sunday to coincide with the release of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Scenes from the 1983 classic Return of the Jedi will be broadcast to the congregation, while an organist will interpret music from the Jedi's score. What's more, worshippers who dress as characters from the films can win tickets to see the latest movie. And that's where we end Nation News for Wednesday. For more news, log on to nationnews.com, as well as YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. Remember to pick up your Daily Nation on Thursday or subscribe to our e-paper. Thank you so much for joining us.